What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here coming back at y'all with another episode to wrap up your week, man. May 28th, it's a Friday. Everyone's excited for the weekend. We got NBA playoffs, so I know a bunch of y'all are excited, but we're glad y'all are ending y'all's week with us. While you're here, make sure to go check out our episodes from earlier this week. Catch up on, I think we posted 2 episodes a day all week, so make sure to go check those out for the weekend or even over the weekend. We appreciate all y'all's support, man. And, go make sure to subscribe now, give this video a thumbs up, and enter our giveaway for 300 subscribers. And, man, we always like to end the week with, one of these abstract topics that just, inspires debate that just come out of nowhere. It's like, man, is this a real thing? And, man, we got it in a big way out of Ohio State and the Big-10. Ohio State and the Big-10's text messages, emails, their communications on the Big-10 shutdown this past summer before the fall season was leaked. So it looks like, from what we can tell, a bunch of people were emailing back and forth from Ohio State about, are they okay? Do they approve being postponed this spring? And that a lot of Ohio State people were saying no, that they should vote no, and that a spring season was highly unlikely. And he said that, Ohio State should explore the opportunity about going independent and, finding a way to somewhat play. And then, of course, we all know about the parent letter that was built up by mainly Ohio State parents, some other Big Ten parents. And there was a text message email exchange where Kevin Warren pretty much called this conversation, or this letter fake, like it was manufactured, it wasn't real, and that, Nebraska, Ohio State both tried to go independent. It was knocked down by the Big-10. They ended up not fighting back, and then Ohio State really committed themselves to figuring out a way to make a solid, tangible, workable spring schedule, which eventually was built. But then, of course, the decision reversed after, 3 of the other Power 5 conferences ended up actually playing this year. So, Brandon, thoughts on this, one, being leaked to the public, and two, I want to address this question first. What would be the ramifications if Nebraska and Ohio State actually went independent?
So, first of all, before I answer that, Zach, I just want to say, how much do we really hate Kevin Warren now? Because my hatred for him has gone from here, where you can barely see it in frame, to above the frame. So you don't even know where my hand's at right now. You couldn't even guess. No, but dude, I don't know what the ramifications would be. That would be so crazy, because I think Ohio State could make it. Nebraska might be able to. They might be able to pull some of their past successes on. And I think they have the funding and the money to remain independent. But would that not cripple the Big-10? Honestly, if Ohio State decided one day, you know what, we're out. I think it would. I think it would at least give a big blow, because then who's the Big-10's moneymaker? That would be the same thing as if Alabama decided to leave the SEC randomly one day. Funding for the SEC would go way down, because Alabama apparently wins the national championship every other season. So it's just one of those things where you can't lose your best school. You cannot lose the school that's bringing in the most money for your conference, or your conference is going to dissolve. The Big East is gone, guys. That was a thing. Turns out conferences are not invincible. So even conferences the size of the Big-10 can dissolve overnight if a big move like that happens. And no kidding, the Big-10 shot that down. And thank God Ohio State didn't fight back, because we don't know what the state of the Big-10 would be. Because who's to say Ohio State and Nebraska would be the only teams to say, you know what, we're going to be independent? I don't think that's the case at all, Zach. I think if those two go independent, we see Wisconsin go independent. I think we see Michigan go independent. I think we see a lot more teams go independent here, because they're going to play college football. They're going to make their money, because college football funds the rest of their athletic programs at these schools. So That's what I think happens in all actuality. And what a piece of crap Kevin Warren is. I wanted to say another word right there, but I keep it on YouTube. I can, but well, I mean, what a piece of crap, honestly. This guy to shoot. I think he was virtue signaling. I mean, after all these other conferences, all these other teams decided they were going to play, they found out a safe way to play. He was like, you know what, Big Ten's not going to play. What?
Yeah, well, it was a race to be first. I'm telling you, I really think so. What happened is the Big Ten thought, Brandon, that they were the SEC.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They thought that if they opted out, the rest of the conferences would be like, "Oh, we can't play without the Big Ten." They forgot that the SEC was like, "Yeah, we don't care."
The SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, they all decided they were going to play. And guess what? It turns out when you have three conferences playing football, three conferences that people care about kind of a lot, people are going to watch college football and they're going to leave you in the dust if you don't play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they got to play. I mean, and that's why, I know I came off as an Ohio State hater at some points this year, but I mean, I don't really hate Ohio State. I just think I didn't want the Big Ten to get a team in the national championship, just to spite Kevin Warren. I mean, that's why I was rooting so hard for Cincinnati. Imagine your in-state small group of five school getting in the playoffs over you.
Right.
And I just don't think he should have been rewarded. I get it. Ohio State was one of the best four teams they should have gotten in. It was just, I hated the fact that, they still got in even after all the BS the Big Ten put the country through. And what does this say about the Pac-12? Are they like the little brother that you have to ask, like, hey, if your friend jumps off the bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge?
Yeah.
Because that's what they did. They got hurt worse because they came back later.
Yeah, they waited until later in October to start.
And I don't even think they played in October, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that it was almost like November.
Was it? I thought it was like late. It might have been. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, because I think one team only played like 3 or 4 games, Brandon. That's pitiful.
Well, to be fair, Zach, in their case, it's not like they had much of an option. The state of California wasn't allowing that sort of thing. They weren't allowing teams to play. And when most of your conferences in California, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, I know Stanford couldn't play home games.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's sort of the same idea as like the Blue Jays or the Raptors not being able to play in Toronto. They have to go down to play in Tampa right now because Canada's not allowing sporting events, or they weren't.
What a trade-off, Toronto to Tampa.
Right.
What an amazing switch. Hey, my mom's from Tampa, so I can't talk too much crap, but from what I've heard, it's not Toronto. But I mean, so Kevin Warren. So the thing is, okay, so Larry Scott lost his job as the Pac-12 commissioner, which he should have. Everybody I've interviewed for our Pac-12 in 31 days says, thank God he's gone. But how does Kevin Warren still have a job?
Is he invincible?
I mean, honestly, so Brandon, like you don't even have I hate to say this, but your job's not as important as the Big Ten commissioner.
It's not. I'm gonna count it. It's okay.
Yeah. So it's not as important, but like if you like gave your boss like bad information, like, oh, we got to do this, and y'all lost a bunch of money, a bunch of time, a bunch of investment. You had people rioting because you wouldn't do their accounting stuff. I don't know how exactly your job works. Like what would you on the bar with?
It's fine.
Yeah. So like you just gave her bad information. You made a terrible decision. It cost the company millions. What did you probably lose your job?
I'm gonna get fired. Dude, I'm gonna get fired before they find out exactly how much we lost.
1 cent. If there's a penny out of place, beat ups on the streets. But I feel like it was just like a pure. And listen, there's still people defending him too. From what I'm reading, they're like, he had to take the safe bet. He had to look out for his players. He cared about his players. It's like, no, he didn't. He cared about the.
Even if you care about your players that much, while you're watching 3 other conferences play, these players are sitting here going, you know what, we want to play. And then the players that don't opt out, it's as simple as that. Give them the option to play if they want to play. play in an empty stadium, do what you have to do to keep these people safe. But all these other teams are playing, and we aren't seeing massive COVID spreader events during the season. So I don't know. I think he just waited a little bit too late to pull the trigger on that.
And then their outrageous COVID protocols looking back. 21 days for a positive test.
Right. I mean, that's not even like the CDC up until December said 14 days. Then in December, they changed it to 10. And the Big 10 apparently knows more than the CDC. And they said, you know what? 21.
And they're like that teacher, like Kevin Warren and the upper administration of the Big 10 was kind of they reminded me of that teacher that all you remember those teachers, Brandon, that was like, I'm the teacher, I know best. And it's like, bro, like as you got older, you were like, that teacher, like, wasn't that smart.
Giant ego, small brain.
I mean, like looking back, like I know where some of my hospital teachers came from. I was like, you didn't know a damn thing. Like you got arrested for a DUI a week ago.
Oh man.
What you mean? Who you talking to like that? No names, but you know what I mean? Like they're like, we know what's best. It's like, no, the CDC does, and the SEC, all their stuff, SEC, Big 12, and ACC, all their stuff is based on CDC guidelines. They were patient. They waited it out, and it paid off. And jumping the gun, making irrational decisions. And like the main thing here that really caught me off guard is you told someone you thought the parent letter was fabricated.
That's so wild to me. I don't know.
Get out of here, man.
Being
like
an Ohio State fan, though, they might write that letter.
Maybe, but like there were parents on Twitter putting their name on it.
I know.
They marched to your office, and you weren't even there.
That's so wild to me, man. He's such a bad commissioner. Anyone who's half as bad at their job as he is fired immediately, and then he's just like, "Oh, I guess I'm." Who's his boss? We don't know. Does he have a boss?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
maybe the presidents of the university like together, but they're not probably together. I mean, for me, it was just there still hasn't been like an acknowledgement that they messed up. That's what I think. If like Kevin Warren came out and was like, "Yeah, we mucked this situation up. We should have played. We jumped the gun. We're sorry. This is what was on our mind. We thought this, and that." Then like maybe I could have some sympathy, but this dude's just keeping his job, saying like, "Hey, we did what was best." It's like, no, you didn't.
Right.
You actually did the exact opposite of what was best.
It's terrible, man.
I mean, and Larry Scott lost his job because of the same situation. And now you're telling me that Kevin Warren gets to keep his.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know, man. I feel like how many teams were so like, what could Wisconsin's season have been if they, don't lose their starting quarterback? They don't lose their second string quarterback. They don't have to cancel 3 games in a row when they were on a roll. Like, I feel like so many different things were just altered for the Big 10 and the Pac-12. And a shout out to Ohio State. I don't feel like they got enough credit for fighting the way they did behind the scenes. And I feel like that could be why some of this was leaked. Shout out to Nebraska. We don't give Nebraska a lot of shout on this podcast. Not a huge Nebraska fans on here, but shout out to them for fighting back too. But man, I got to question the leadership behind some of these universities that didn't fight back on this decision.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Northwestern. If you didn't.
I mean, but guys, shorter episode, but man, this is just such an interesting thing. If you guys want to go check this out, it is I've retweeted on my Twitter with the hashtag fire Kevin Warren. So go check out. I think it was by 11 Warriors, I think it's the espionage site for Ohio State. They have all the text messages leaked, all the recaps. Go check that out. We didn't want to, we couldn't really publish it on this video version, but we just wanted to break down kind of our initial thoughts on this as we kind of hit like this dead period in college football. But guys, we got big things on the horizon. Special guests lined up, more interviews lined up, and of course, we're starting our SEC in 30 days. We already got 3 huge names lined up, and we're kicking off our SEC in 30 days. with the voice of the Auburn Tigers. Andy Bertram will be our first guest. Yes, I am pumped for that interview. I love all our guests, but this one holds a special place in my heart, man. The voice of the Auburn Tigers. And then next up will be Mississippi State. And then next up will be Arkansas. So we're starting with, the best first. We used to say the best for last, but the best is coming first here on the Blue Bloods. Brandon's rolling his eyes. But guys, make sure to subscribe now. This is we appreciate y'all supporting, man. This is the 5th and final episode this week of the 2-Minute Drill. We'll be back next week with 5 new episodes, with more interviews, more content, man. Just because it's the off season does not mean we stop. Subscribe, like the video, man. But for B-Dub, for myself, the 2-Minute Drill, and the Blue Bloods guys, we are out.